In today's video, I'll explain how I tattoo this design. For those who want to try it at home, you can find the template and the stencil in the video description. Before you try to recreate it, I recommend watching the entire video first so you can understand the workflow and my thought process. First, I shave the area. To avoid irritating the skin too much, I first shave from top to bottom. After that, I can carefully shave upwards, and that way, every hair disappears. Then I disinfect the skin with a skin disinfectant. Now I apply a thin layer of stencil stuff and position the stencil. All the products I'm currently using can be found in the video description, and with the code fanitattoo, you'll get 10% off your order. I start with a 3-round liner needle, a stroke of 4.2 millimeters, and let the needle stick out about 4 millimeters from the cartridge. I'll also show you the machine settings up here, and on the other side you can see which gray tone I'm using. With such a thin needle, you have to tattoo very carefully. The thinner the needle, the more aggressive it is on the skin. Try to make the lines as clean as possible. It's not about finishing quickly, but about achieving a clean end result. This needle is very prone to blowouts, so I prefer to tattoo carefully, and if necessary, go over the same line a second time. With such thin needles, the tolerance for a blowout is very small. It's also important to know that lines made with such a thin needle will never look really bold, but that's not the goal with this design. With the way I set up the needle, I've got a perfect ink flow. Not too much, not too little coming out of the cartridge. Every needle brand is a little different, so it can happen that with another cartridge, at a needle hang of 4 millimeters, barely any ink comes out. That's no problem though. There's a simple rule you can follow. The further the needle sticks out of the cartridge, the less ink lands on the skin. The more the needle sits inside the cartridge, the more ink flows. The thickness of the ink also plays a role. The thicker the ink, the harder it is for it to flow over the needle onto the skin. I'm pretty sure most tattoo artists would agree with me that dynamic inks are unbeatable. They always heal perfectly, end up darker than with most other brands, and at the same time the inks are really thin and smooth. The speed at which I pull a line also decides if the line ends up bold or super fine. I've often been asked why my ink folds, even though I don't go very deep. The reason is simple. I always keep the skin extremely tight. Even when I just lightly touch the skin, you can still feel some resistance because of the strong stretch. If the skin wasn't stretched properly, I'd have to tattoo a bit deeper, logically. Of course, I could outline the whole tattoo with a slightly thicker needle, but I prefer the lines to fade thinner toward the outside. That's why I only do one line on the outside, and if I want a section thicker, I just go over it twice. When you go as slowly as I do with my lines, it's really hard to mess up. Tattooing real skin is way harder than fake skin because every person's skin is different, and you've also got the risk of the client moving. That's not a problem though, as long as you know how to handle it. Learning to tattoo takes time and a lot of patience. If the client moves a lot, always rest both hands on the skin. That way, if they move, you move along with them. But what if the skin is different every time? The answer is, work carefully, especially in the beginning. It's better to go too shallow first, wipe over the line to check, and only go deeper if the line doesn't hold. Slowly feel your way until you've found the right depth. Your mindset while tattooing should always be, when you've got a client, your goal is to give them the best possible result. This is not the time or place to stress out. You'll naturally get faster with time and experience. After I've finished all the lines, the intermediate result should look like this. Now let's move on to the dot work technique. With many small dots, we can create shading. The larger the spacing between the dots, the lighter the shading becomes. This is a very beginner-friendly technique and can be learned quickly. You can also use different gray tones with this technique, but here I'm working only with pure black. If I use different gray tones, the shading looks even softer. In this case though, I want the texture created by the dots to remain more visible. Since I've already lined everything, I no longer need to worry about the stencil smudging. For me, one of the most important aspects of tattooing is that I feel comfortable and not stressed. Only then can I perform at my best. This includes things like keeping the template in my line of sight or setting up the workstation close to the tattoo. That way you save a lot of small movements and in the end, the work feels more relaxed. When I'm working on a tattoo that needs to be symmetrical, I always try to switch back and forth between both sides as much as possible. In this case, I start with all the feet first, so they end up looking the same in the end. If I were to completely finish one side first and then start from scratch on the other side, the risk would be way too high that they won't match perfectly. And that's not just for this design, I also do it with portraits. For example, I like to tattoo both eyes instead of finishing just one, so they come together nicely in the end. Here, I outline the area that should stay lighter first, so I don't have to keep thinking about it later. It might seem like a small detail, but honestly, a lot of small details like this make the whole process way easier in the long run. With the dot work technique, you can create really precise shading effects, and it even adds a cool texture to the design. I can totally recommend it to beginners because it's much easier than smooth shading. I know a lot of different people are watching me. Some of you are just starting out, and others are already full-time tattoo artists. But I think every single tattooer out there can confirm. The most important thing on the way to becoming a good artist is practicing every single day. That's the only way you get better. Of course, it's also super valuable to watch others, but it's really that mix that pushes you forward. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is not having enough patience. I keep seeing artists who do a couple of lines, then start shading, then do some more lines, and at some point they're struggling because their stencil is getting smudged. You just make life harder for yourself that way. Always try to work in a structured way, and if you've watched my videos before, you already know how much I emphasize that. I think that's also one of the reasons why there are so few really good tattoo artists who can work with color. You always have to fully finish one color before moving on to the next, because dark colors shouldn't be smeared over lighter ones. That requires a huge amount of patience since the tattoo doesn't look great until all the steps are finished. Once we've got the dot work done, the tattoo should look something like this for anyone who wants to try it out on fake skin. Now let's move on to the stipple shading technique. For this technique, I set the machine to 5 volts, and let the needle stick out about 3 millimeters from the cartridge. Because of the quick movements and the machine's slow running speed, small dots are created, similar to the previous technique, but a bit lighter. This way, I now shade all the areas that need to be a bit darker. With this technique, I'd recommend working only in pure black. Otherwise, you'll end up tattooing over the same spot way too often and you'll lose the dot work effect. The deeper I go, the darker the dots get. With a little feel, you can create nice smooth transitions that way. If you're wondering why I didn't do the whole tattoo with stipple shading, it's simple. Dot work makes the dots punchier and gives the whole piece more contrast. The slower you set the machine's volt, the bigger the spacing between the dots becomes. For my hand speed, 5 volt works perfectly. For the soft shading in the wing, I use a 15 soft edge Magnum needle, a stroke of 3.3 millimeters, and let the needle stick out about 2 millimeters from the cartridge. Now I no longer use pure black, but the second darkest gray tone. The bigger the Magnum needle, the easier it is to get soft shading. I've had lots of apprentices, and every time before we start, I ask which needles they'd use. Almost always beginners pick needles that are too small. Learning to work with larger needles not only makes you faster, but in most cases, the result looks better too. With the pendulum shading technique, a very smooth shading is automatically created. The less pressure I apply, the lighter the shading will be. The needle still has to enter and exit the skin smoothly so that no unwanted edges appear. With the pull whip shading technique, it's even easier to create smooth shading. With this technique, you always pull the needle toward yourself. Because of the gentle stroking of the skin, the needle is not as aggressive, and the shading automatically becomes lighter. Now let's move on to the packing technique. With small circular movements, I fill in the desired areas. Take your time when filling. If an area doesn't look solid when freshly tattooed, it will look even less solid once it's healed. Again, I work along the edges first so that when I fill, I can focus on the important stuff. When you're filling, don't be afraid to go deep enough. If you tattoo the same spot too many times, the skin can get damaged and scar during healing because the top layer will have been destroyed. You can avoid that by aiming for the right depth. After I've filled everything in, this is how it looks. If you want to support me for free, subscribe to my channel and give the video a like. If you want to recreate the tattoo at home, you can find the real-time video for channel members on my channel.